and my job is to get you past all the exams. And the number one question I get before I do my live, so I'm hoping to save some time and make it less chaotic, is what do I do? I'm taking the test tomorrow or 2 weeks or whatever it is. So let's, first of all, if you're taking it tomorrow, too late, you're fucked. Okay? No, I'm kidding around. Get some sleep. If you're taking it tomorrow, you should not be on my live. You should be getting sleep and you should be going over customer accounts. Literally any exam you take, literally any exam, you should probably read customer accounts. I have crash course videos you can watch, playlists you can watch. Go watch those and get some sleep. If you have a significant other, make sure they do the right thing or ask them to do the right thing. And you don't want to make them do anything, but you ask them. Just massage, that's all I'm talking about. Just keep you relaxed, no fighting, stuff like that. Now, if you're taking it beyond tomorrow, so if you're taking it tomorrow, what are you doing out here? Get off here, click and get out of here. If you're taking it beyond tomorrow, so let's say you're taking it in 2 days. Tomorrow is no testing. It's adding knowledge, reading customer accounts, going over videos, hopefully my crash course videos or others. Bottom line is you don't want to stress yourself out. You don't want to take a test. I'm not a fan of testing. Some people like it. I disagree with it because if you go bad, there's no upside. If it goes bad for you, you're screwed. So I say, don't take a test tomorrow. Take it easy. Around dinner time, you're done. I don't care if you're taking the test at 5 o'clock at night. At dinner time, you're done. Okay? Don't do anything. Again, the night before is always kind of go out to dinner. Don't go, pounding, going fireballs, but just literally go out to dinner, maybe talk to people who aren't involved in it, who don't care about the test, don't want to hear it. You want to do stuff that just relax you. If you have SDC or Notman, they have these little sheets that you can go through. Maybe the day before, make sure you go over it like hot sheets or key topic stuff or crunch time facts. Again, I have crash course playlists, a whole playlist on almost every test you can take. Now, let's say you're taking it more than 2 days out. So what you want to do is within the up to, but not including the last, I don't even know if that's right. The last 8 to 10 days is testing, okay? Before that, you're reading and quizzing and testing, all that. A lot of focus on reading, mostly focus on reading, watching videos, adding knowledge. But in the last 8 days, not including the day before, so whatever that is, so 10 days before, you're going to take tests every day. One test, not two. If it's a 63 of the SIE, maybe you can take 2. But again, I don't think it works so well. Oh, I feel the heat on my back. I really just want to turn around and take a dive. The problem is when I go in there, there's a manatee warning. The boats have to go around me. I have to wear a flag saying manatee, don't hit me, stuff like that. Now, up to but not including the day before the test, you are to take one final a day. Now, remember something. When you do a final, review the whole thing, not just the wrong answers. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of do a triage. There's really 3 or 4 choices. You look them over. If you got it right for the right reason, you're good. Move on. Make sure you read the answer why, okay? 2, if you got it right for the wrong reason, mark that down. You have to review it because if you got it right because you guessed, that's just as bad as a wrong. Almost more dangerous, right? Because you think you got it. 2, if you got it wrong because you misread it, which happens with the Kaplan, Past Perfect, STC, even Achievable, all of them, you can misread it. If you get it wrong because you misread it, but you knew the concept, don't worry about it. The last one is you got it wrong because you didn't know your shit. That you have to review. So really, you're going to have 4 choices, mark them all, and then if you got it right for the right reason or wrong because you misread it, but you understand the concept, don't worry about it. The ones you have to review are the ones you got right for the right reason, and then the ones you got for the wrong reason. The ones you got for the wrong reason. See, when I talk too fast, my brain is here, my mouth is here, and they're not in conjunction. And then ones you got right for the wrong reason, like guessing, and then you got to be honest with yourself. Some people go, I think I know it. Or the ones you got wrong for the right reason. I guess the right reason to be wrong, you don't know it. If you're starting to memorize questions, buy another QBank. STCS 4 supplemental exams. If you want, buy Kaplan. But again, you don't want to add a new QBank in the last few days. You want to do it out so you can literally get used to the question because you don't want to switch it up the day before. Again, you need to go in there like a badass. You need to go into the test like I'm going to fucking own this shit and you're going to run it, okay? You got to go in there confident. You got to understand that if you go in there confident, if you go into this test as a confident badass, not cocky, confident, I know my shit, then when you see a hard question, you're going to go, oh, I can do this, okay? And you can work through it or even mark for review, shit like that. If you go in there where you're not sure and you're like, oh, I'm afraid, then every hard question is going to look to you like, see, I knew I should have waited. And that's a bad thing because you won't try it. I've seen that so many times where if you give someone positive confirmation of good work, they're willing to work a little bit harder on the question. If you're like, oh, I'm not ready, they go, oh, I knew I wasn't ready. They give up. We don't want give up. We want you to attack it like you know your shit, okay? And that's literally it. You maybe want to watch some of my exam walkthrough videos, join my live, but not the night before. I don't want to see you the night before. I want to see you after you pass so we can play a song for you and blow it out your ass, okay? Good. Okay, everyone, go beat this thing. You got this. I believe in you. I 100% believe in you. And you need to say every morning, get up in the morning, brush your teeth with your offhand, even if you want to brush your teeth with your foot, and keep saying, I'm going to pass this. I'm going to pass this. Say it like 10 times with confidence. Not I need to pass it. Not I gotta pass it. I'm going to pass it. That's your goal. Go beat this thing. We got it, baby. Okay, welcome. That was awesome. Good job, Ken, on that. I love it. Okay. Everyone, you see we have a special guest. We have Brandon Rith, the former writer for all the achievable stuff that you guys all love. He's going to come in, stay with us for the hour, and answer questions with me. I always love having him on here. We get along pretty well. He sometimes explains stuff more simply than I do, which is great. And he's super nice. And he does some tutoring. By the way, do check out his YouTube channel. It's Basic Wisdom on YouTube. He does that stuff. And he definitely has some great videos, less cursing than I do, more calm, more soothing. Maybe so we'll get to Brandon, how are you doing?
I don't know. Hey, I'm doing great, Ken. That was quite the intro there. And I agree. I mean, everything you said there about going back to the, what do you do the night before the exam? What do you do leading up to the exam? I echo all the sentiments there. Yeah, if your test is tomorrow, you should probably be sleeping right now. So get off, see ya, go crush it tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
No, it's great. Okay, so can you see the questions as they come in, or no? Can you see the chat? Or no? Okay, good.
I'm looking at all of them. Yeah, yeah. I think Carly Carly has a good
Carly
question.
Has a good one, right?
Lot. Yeah.
You want to try one? Give it a shot. You don't have to do all of them.
Okay. So how about this? I'll take a few of the easy ones here. Cost basis. What's cost basis? The cost of acquiring a security. Keep it simple. It's the cost of. It's basically the market price you pay for a security plus any kind of commissions or fees you might pay on top of that if you're subject to those fees. A lot of times we'll compare cost basis to sales proceeds to figure out, do we have a capital gain or a capital loss for tax purposes. Of course, hopefully you know this by now. Realized capital gains and realized capital losses are all that matter for tax purposes. If it's unrealized, who cares? It's on paper. Those numbers will change over time. That's really quick with cost basis. Beta is a measurement of volatility as compared to the market.
How would you do the math on that? How would you do the math on? Like say it at 1.5 beta.
Yeah. In terms of like figuring out what we would expect out of the security, 1.5 beta, multiply that times with the market return, and that should set some expectations for the security. So if the market's up 10% and we have a security with a 1.5 beta, we should probably expect that security to be up 15%.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if I do 17%? You expecting 15 and I do 17?
Great question. Great segue actually to alpha. A really easy way to set expectations for a security is to do the beta times market return math there. So 10% market return times a 1.5% beta, that our security should be at 15%. Now, if it's up 17% instead, is exceeded our expectations, and that is reflected in alpha. Alpha is a really good way to tell if we're exceeding or underperforming expectations. If our expectations are 15% and we hit a 17% return, then we have a positive alpha of 2. The more positive your alpha, the more you're outperforming expectations, generally speaking.
Okay. What if we do less than expected?
Then we'd have a negative alpha. Yeah. Hey, 10% market return, beta of 1.5. We should be hitting a 15% return. If we hit a 12% return, then we'd have a -3 alpha there. Underperforming expectations. I mean, yeah, we can talk a lot more about that, but just generality. That's what's what I think those are the basics there. And then I don't know. You want to take parity?
If you're on a roll, you want to try it. I have no problem doing it.
I mean, I'm happy to do parity. I mean, my question would be, what are we talking with parity? I mean, parity, sometimes we can talk about options. I was going to say with options we can talk about parity. With convertible securities we can talk parity. I oftentimes this comes up with convertible securities. So when I think of parity price, there's two different forms of parity price, and the way I try to think about it, just let's think easy. If you go to the grocery store and buy a pack of something and break that pack down into an individual unit basis. Like I buy a 4-pack of coconut water for $12. What are you paying per unit of coconut water? Well, about $12 for the pack. There's 4 in there. So I'm paying $3 per coconut water. That essentially is the parity price of coconut water. You would do the same idea there with a convertible security. For example, if I have $100 par preferred stock that's convertible into two shares of common stock, let's also say the market price of that security is also $100. Well, the parity price of my common stock would be $50. I buy one preferred stock for $100 market value, convert it into 2 shares. I'm paying basically $2 per share. That's parity price of the common stock. You can apply the same idea to convertible bonds as well. Don't know if you want to talk about parity price of the bond or the preferred stock, but that's a good starting
How would you get it? So if let's say I had, you can drink while I talk. So
go for it.
Let's say I had a bond trading at 1,020. I'll make it easy. Bond trading at 1,200, and the ratio was 25. I don't need. 25. So what would I do? I don't need the math. How would I find stock parity?
Stock parity is bond market price divided by the conversion ratio.
Okay,
that's it.
What if I wanted bond parity?
Bond parity. Bond parity is we take the. Well, wait, actually, let's take a step back real quick. I think one good theme with the parity price formulas is the conversion ratio is always a part of the formula. Right. And secondly, we're always going to use the market price of the other thing to get to the answer. So, for example, parity price of the stock is bond market price divided by the conversion ratio. So I'm looking for the stock parity price. I use the market price of the other thing, the bond. Right. The bond's market price divided by the conversion ratio. Conversely, if I'm looking for the parity price of the bond, I would take the stock's market price, multiply that times the conversion ratio. That's kind of like, I'm looking at each individual coconut water is $3. What should a 4-pack be worth? Well, a 4-pack should be $12. You're kind of doing the backwards version of the first thing.
I love it. Yeah. So what I try to remember, awesome. So what I try to remember, some people go, I don't know whether I should multiply or divide. So I always go, when in doubt, just multiply, because multiply times the stock and you're good. This way you don't have to think about it. But what I do is look at the answers. If the answers are bond prices, you multiply the stock. If the answers are stock prices, you divide. So they will tell you. So Carly, they'll tell you what they want. I always found when I get a question and I go, I don't know what they're asking. If I read the answers sometimes, I go, now sometimes with Cap on the Pest Perfect, I have no shot. I just go, I'm going to pick and hopefully I get it. But if a lot of times if you go, I don't know what they're asking, you can figure out what they're asking based on the answers. So I think that works.
Okay. I totally agree.
Okay. So now Josephine has some good news. 7, not yet. Okay. So now I missed the right. So another one. I jumped on. So we're going to talk about this. So Josephine is taking it next Tuesday, and you feel like you don't know anything. Okay. I would spend a day, and I'll hear my advice, and then you go yours. If you're really taking it next Tuesday and you're failing, well, maybe we have to discuss whether you keep the test date or not. But if you just feel like when you're not looking at the answers, but like if you ask me sometimes about something, I may not know how to answer it, but if you show me the question, I can get it. Because sometimes it's hard to just come up with stuff. But if you're passing, you're fine. But maybe instead of pressing about questions all the time, spend a day watching videos. Spend a day reading the customer accounts, the stuff that the mutual funds, annuities, the high target shit, just to bring it back. Because sometimes when people take tests too many times, they get like burnout, and then they start thinking, "Oh my god!" and you spin out. And I'm look, as I said, I'm not some Zen guy at all, but I do believe that there's a total mental, emotional part to this, and that's why I started doing these new, like every day I have a rah video, because I think it does help and keep you motivated and keep you straight. But I just say I would absolutely go just spend a day reading or something and get yourself.
I totally agree. My first question, if I was meeting with Josephine right now, would be, tell me about your study process. What are your quizzes looking like? What are your practice exam scores looking like? I can't tell you how many times people will go into the exam feeling like they know nothing, but then you start asking them questions and they obviously know way more than they give themselves credit for. So I mean, that could be a mental thing. So I don't know if I have great advice for Josephine other than hang in there. And I agree. Watch good videos. I'm not, I'm going to use a young person term here, but I'll glaze you a little bit here, Ken. But I send a lot of my students to your videos. In particular, there's an SIE video where you go through, I think, a practice exam you created, and I almost every student I talked to is like, "Oh my, thank God for you sending me that video." I saw a few questions on my exam that were very close to what was there. So
I can't tell you on here how I got the question, but that's okay. So I'll just say I have a good memory. I'll leave it at that. So
let's not talk about it. Yeah.
Shh, nobody. Okay. Now, we got it. Donald. So Donald, I think he's taking it. I mean, he reached out to me on Instagram. And if you care, Series 7 Whisper on Instagram and the same thing on TikTok. But he reached out to me because he got hurt a year ago and he's just coming back into it. And he's getting extra time tomorrow. So he's a few weeks out, I think. But he's getting extra time, which I tell everyone. If you can find a way to get extra time on the test, you do it. If you speak with an accent, get extra time. It's almost like they trust you. It's like if you have English as a second language, you will automatically get an extra 30 minutes. Why not take it? Why?
Totally.
You know, like I have people go, I don't want to do that. Just take it. If they're giving it to you, take it. It doesn't cost you anything. And if that extra half an hour, even if you don't need it, if it gives you the ability to relax a little bit and like take a little extra beat, totally fine.
Yep. Totally
and Donald, I'm going to add, if you can, try to get as many. You understand the accommodations you can get. You can get longer time. You can get a private room. You can get it on paper. You can get somebody to read it to you. I had one guy, he actually had a lawyer and he got dipped blue. They let him use a financial calculator. And they had to provide, he couldn't, they had to get it. And black and blue and red pens.
Okay.
And someone reading it to him.
I've never heard of that before. So kudos.
This is a guy I want if I'm missing something, this guy is tenacious. Like he will just be like go after it until they give it to him. So it was great. And he ended up passing because of that. He failed twice. It's real learning disabilities. He ended up passing on the third shot. It was great. Okay. Now, MP, baby. Okay. And Kimmy, we're going to get to you. Okay. I'm getting 75/80 on Kaplan SIE practice exams. How will I do, you think, on the exam? It's in 5 days, but I'm still struggling. Okay. I think on Kaplan, if you're 75/80 on the SIE, you're doing great. It's a really solid score. I think in my mind, I think Kaplan is more convoluted and more complicated than the exam. And I do think that if you're mid 75/80s and you're not memorizing, you're fine.
Totally.
I didn't
tell you, I had the opportunity to take the SIE about a month and a half ago.
Oh wow!
And I mean, without giving away, FINRA's watching. I don't tell anyone about my experience on the exam, other than I felt I felt like some of the especially like a provider like Kaplan. Yeah, it's more difficult than I think what you're probably going to see in the exam. But you're 75 to 80s, as long as you're not memorizing, like Ken said, and memorizing answers and seeing repeat questions, I think you're going to be fine. Don't forget about the FINRA practice exam. If you haven't taken that, that's a really good resource for you. And then, Ken's videos. Ken has great.
I have a couple good where I walk through them. I do two of yours, the 2 or 3 of your achievable questions tests, and then I do one where I made it, and then I think I do a Notman one on there. Notman is like Kaplan. Have you ever taken a Notman one? Have you ever, Brandon? Have you ever taken a Notman? Try one of those Notman finals?
The Notman finals, no. At least, I take that back. I found a Notman SIE final that I think they had on their website.
They have
for
a free one online. They have a free one online.
That was a tough test, if I recall. Tough. I feel like my real exam was easier than that. Yeah.
100%. I go in there and I've taken that one and I'm like, I don't know if I'm smart enough to pass this test sometimes. Like it's like they're tough. So the thing is, if you're passing the Notman and the Kaplan ones, you're in great shape. You don't need to be 90s. If you're mid 70s on Notman or Kaplan, even past perfect, you're good. Okay.
Totally agree.
Now, So I want to do this too, but can you read Cole's, the one I'm going to highlight on the screen?
Yeah, for sure. Is it possible
Try that
to know?
one. You do it, and I want to hear your way of doing this because we do it different.
Is it possible to know if a spread is debit or credit without strike prices and just the net premium? I mean, if they were to give you a spread and they don't tell you the strike prices and just tell you the net premium, no, unless if it's a calendar spread, then strike prices don't matter. You just go the longer of the two is gonna define the spread, right? So if the longer is the long side, then it's a debit spread and vice versa. Right. But other than that,
if I give you a 50, hold on, you know this. So if I give you buy a 50 call and sell a 60 call for a net of 5, you can do that.
You can totally, with calls, the low strike price is your dominant side, and that will name the spread. So that would, if the long is the lower strike price, it's a debit spread, vice versa. With puts, the high strike price is the dominant side, and whatever. If the long is the high strike price, then it's a debit spread, and vice versa.
So you're going to look at find the dominant, right? So whatever the dominant is, if that's a buy, it's a debit. If it's a sell, it's a credit. Good. Okay.
Yep.
Hope that helps, Cole. Now, Kimmy, where are we going to go with this one? Okay. Boom. Just got your Series 7 meals today. Get on it. Well, we got to enjoy that a little bit. So what are we going to do? We're going to go with this one.
Here come the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Excuse me, Mr. Officer. Still
Gotta love the music. Okay. So, by the way, even though it's my live, I'm letting you do. We're going to go back and forth, but I'm letting you give everything a shot first, if you feel okay with it. Okay.
Sure. Totally.
Okay. I think it's good for people to hear a different voice sometimes, because I'm a fan of, I tell people, join the study groups, right? Because I may think of a good way to remember it, but I learned. The best thing I ever heard was this girl Tina, one of the students, and she came on once, said it, and left. The way she knows to recognize spread, she always remembered bed spread, like BS bed spread. And I thought that was great. I've never thought of that, and I thought it was kind of cool to me because if you're like, is it a straddle or a spread? Well, if it's a buy and a sell, bed spread, BS, it's a spread. Learn stuff. Okay.
Love it.
Now, I don't. Cole has a question about the footnotes. I don't know this answer.
I mean, does a brochure have footnotes?
I think just the balance sheet, right?
I mean, when I think footnotes, I think like a prospectus or financial disclosures, like like your 10Ks, 10Qs.
And they're explaining stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, our balance sheet looks terrible, but here's the reason why balance sheet looks terrible. But no, I mean, I've looked at in fact, not to market myself, but I have a few videos where I literally go through real world brochures on my channel. I don't remember footnotes on any brochure. It's just, the disclosures are throughout the entire brochure. That's the entire brochure's disclosure. Here's who I am. Here's my, here's the firm. Here's the background. Here's the fees they charge. Here's the conflicts of interest, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know.
I'm looking it up. I'm even looking it up and I don't see it. So maybe it's confusing. So maybe you're thinking disclosures no, the disclosures. So let's make it clear. The disclosures are the brochure, pretty much. The brochure is a narrative, right? So you did one. You kind of went through one on your video, right?
Okay. Yeah. Go through both the brochure and the brochure supplement. In a few of my videos.
Well, here's a question. Up to you. You can drop it in the chat if you want. I don't know if you can go in the chat. I do that all the time with links, and sometimes it helps people to find stuff. Okay. So I think so. The brochure, and don't feel you have to do it. I'm just saying you can do it. So when I think of the brochure, it is literally the disclosure doc. I remember about 15 years ago, I had to write one, and it had just switched to just bullet point to narrative. So basically, I remember the guy from the SIE, he called me, he goes, I'm getting sick of sending this shit back to you, okay? Because they kept getting to what they call deficiency notice. He goes, it has to have a narrative. I'm okay, so I wrote it. He goes, it has to have a table of contents. And he goes, and it has to have this. I'm like, okay, fine. And it took me about 3 months to get it right. But it really was all about what we do, our education, the conflicts, all that stuff. The disclosures are the brochure. So I don't think it's really the footnotes. It actually is the brochure. Okay.
No.
So the next one, Jules Yang. My Series 7 exam is next Wednesday. I've been scoring 75, 82 in SDC. but also took the Kaplan simulated exam. QBank got a 68. I'm freaking out. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Always happens. But when you switch vendors from the primary vendor that you've learned through to another vendor, your score is almost always guaranteed to go down significantly. And that's okay. I review it, learn from your mistakes. If you have continued access to Kaplan, maybe jump in there and take another one and eventually your scores will recover and you'll be fine over there. You're seeing new language. You're seeing questions formulated in a different way. I guarantee if you did it backwards, if you learned through Kaplan and switched to STC, it would be the exact opposite.
And the first time, your first shot at it. So I'm going to add on to that and say, if you do the Kaplan stuff, but do like 15 question quizzes on topics, get used to the wording. And I wouldn't even worry about taking another final. But if you want, do it like spend a day doing chapter quizzes, like 15 questions per unit until you get used to the wording, then give it another shot. But in reality, anyone who tells me their first shot at Kaplan is I-60s, I think you're in good shape. I think, again, like Brandon said, your score drops a lot, especially with Kaplan. Although it's funny, I definitely have people saying they think STC is harder with some stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, but it depends on what book you're reading.
It's whatever you start with is you're going to be your strongest almost every time. So, yeah.
Okay, so now we got Maribel. She missed. She got a 66. Okay, everyone knows my advice. So what's your advice when somebody misses?
Real simple. Well, it depends on the score. I mean, we have the score there, so this will be for Maribel. Number one, take a break. When did she take it? Yesterday. I think you need at least a couple days break. Now, don't take like 3 weeks off, but take a day or two off. Let your mind reset. Especially if you test on Friday, and say go the entire week and go out fun. Try to not think about this, and then we'll hit the ground running on Monday. Now it's 66 on the what was that? The 7. Yep. So we're 6 points off. I think you're close enough to that passing score where I don't think you need to go back and reread the book from cover to cover. Now, if I have someone scoring the low 60s or the 50s, I consider telling them, hey, maybe we should start from square one and almost like start all over and read through all the stuff again and treat it like you're approaching it anew. But with a 66, no, I'd say get back in there, take a final exam on Monday, do a good thorough review of it, and then on Tuesday, Wednesday, do a couple chapter quizzes in certain areas that looks like you're scoring low in, and then rinse and repeat, do that over and over and over again. I think you see more questions.
Good. Now, Maribel, maybe you can answer in here. What sections do you think hurt you the most? Was it like the options? Are you strong in the options or not? Now, I've been hearing this, and luckily today somebody passed and said it wasn't the case. But for the last 3 weeks, I have a lot of students come in and go, they saw like 7 to 10 option questions only. Like, I don't know if that's a Mercury retrograde kind of thing or something. I don't know.
Only 7 to 10?
Yes. Which is blows my mind. Now, to be fair, it could be because they were so easy, they forgot them.
Maybe I hear probably 1 out of 30 people I talk to will tell me like, I saw like, very few option questions. I mean, for me, the average tends to be somewhere between 20 to 30. And I've had some people recently, like, I feel like half my test was options. So it depends. Yeah.
I had one girl said she thinks the first 90 questions were options. And she's like, thank God. So, okay. So here's the question. So Cole he's good. He's asking me questions, which is good. What, let's talk about the ACAT process.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm coming to you, Brandon. I'm going to come from JP Morgan. You're Goldman or you're Fidelity. I'm going to come to you. How do we work this? So I give you my positions, right? And what happens?
Yeah. So, I mean, the paperwork the customer always starts with the firm that they're sending the assets to. You don't even need to talk to the old firm typically. So you go to the new firm, fill out their paperwork. The receiving firm, the firm where the assets are going, will look at the paperwork, make sure it looks good, kick it over to the delivering firm. I guess to quickly answer the question, typically the account would be frozen as soon as they verify. Right. Yep. As long as they verify the positions. Now, there's a number of things that can go wrong with that. Like maybe you're asking to send over a proprietary product that can only be held at that firm, or maybe there's like something weird with your account that needs to be fixed. So, but as long as everything is good, they will essentially freeze the account. They have 1 day to validate, 1 business day to validate, and then 3 days to transfer. And if you do that on a Monday, by Friday comes around, you should have everything in your new account. Yep. And all orders, like you said, so like what Brandon was saying, I don't know if they call it a freeze, but they do all the new orders once they validated. All new orders are at the new firm.
So that's kind of what it is, that they will not be able to accept any more orders. Once they validate it, it's locked up.
Yeah.
And now it's interesting. So I dealt with a couple of people that have done this, and it's like not on a good way, where if your customer wants to ACAT it out, you can't stop the ACAT. You can try to convince them to stay. That's not against the law. But you have to complete the ACAT, and if he wants to come back, he has to do an ACAT back. So you always, trust me, I had a place going back like 3 or 4 times. They kept convincing the person, and it's like, forget it, I'm gone. But so understand, so you freeze the account, you can't stop the ACAT unless there's a problem, like Brandon said. And then, but you have to let it go through. And then if you want to come back, you got to convince him to ACAT back to you. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Okay. So now Jessica Kendall, 7, she's getting 78, 80s, uncap, and you're good. New Year's Eve is going to be great for you. You're going to be drunk because you're going to be a registered rep. Yeah. Just remember, it expires on the 31st, right? So you take it on the 31st. It ends that day. So they'll have to renew you again, like right after you pass. But you'll get to be drunk as a registered rep. Just remember not to get arrested because it counts after that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, cool. Did you see Michael's thing?
I do. No. Sorry, Michael. I used to tutor the Series 24, and I feel sorry for anyone that has to go through that process. If you had talked to me 3 or 4 years ago, I may have brought you on as a client, but that is a test that requires so much attention and focus. And at the time, I was only getting 3 or 4 people a year that would hire me for help. So it's not that much. Worth my time. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Do you do it? Do you do the 24? Yeah,
unfortunately I do it. I run a principal. I do a class on Sunday nights now. On the part of the membership thing, where from 6 to 7 on Sundays we do 24 hours a night. A guy, Bill from New York Life, who failed it 3 times, passed it today, which is awesome.
Good job, Bill.
No, but as I said, I don't like doing it. But Michael convinced me to do the class. He got enough people to join, and I hate him for it. So, but the thing is, so like Kaplan has one great teacher, Mark Esposito, right? He's awesome, right? He teaches a 24 also, okay? Mm-hmm. But when Mike was in his class, and he said, I'd rather have a colonoscopy and a root canal at the same time than teach the 24.
Totally agree.
But anyone taking a 24, STC is by far, I don't like their teachers as much. I mean, they're fine, and their videos are fine, but their book is better than the rest. Nobody touches it. I mean, Notman and Kaplan are fine, but STC, it looks like the exam. It looks like they feel like it. It's a lot. They cover a lot of the stuff. Okay. Yeah, Cole, I'm going to jump past Cole's. I'm going to see. I may come back to this because we got a lot of his questions in there. So let me see. So now, so now I say you need to take finals for 5 to 7 days before. Okay. Mm-hmm. Where do you think finals is? Okay.
Depending on the exam, well, let's say SIE, I think 5 to 7 days is appropriate. The Series 7 I'd say a week, maybe a little longer. I try to encourage people, hey, build a plan, follow that plan, try to get ahead of schedule. And generally speaking, the more time you have to take practice exams, I really think the better you're going to do in the end. So, but about a week. About
at
5 to 7 days,
right?
Yeah. That's what I'd say.
So when I tell people to go on the achievable stuff or any of them, and people can do that, you can set a date. I always say set the date a week before you're taking it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this way, then you're ready and just taking finals all the way. I think STC does a plan too, where you can do like a 3-week or 6-week plan. I always say plan it for a week before, so then you can just take finals.
Well, I can tell you this with STC just because of my I have teaching classes that are using STC right now. But the STC has static calendars, so a 2-week, a 3-week, a 4-week calendar. You choose whatever one makes sense for you. And in that calendar, it actually will include about a week, 5 to 7 days of taking practice exams. So, hey, good calendars. Just find a calendar or build your own calendar, follow it, try to get ahead of schedule. The more exams you take, the better.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to take this easy one because this is easy for me. Okay. So a leap is literally an option that's up to 3 years. Okay. It is exactly the same as an option. A calls puts, but it's up to 3 years. Now they say 36 to 39 months. And I went out to the CBO website and said, okay, maybe I can get a list of which ones are 39 or which ones are 36. But you go in there and it literally goes, they can be anywhere from 36 to 39. So it's not any one product like index ones or stock ones. They are all 36 to 39 months, depending on when they're created. So again,
Cool.
leaps are long-term equity options. What are they? Long equity appreciation products, whatever it is.
Long-term equity anticipation securities. The AP stands for anticipation. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. See, so they're long-term, up to 3 years. Now, remember, this is the one thing. Options, normal options, because they're 9 months or less, no margin. If you do a leap, okay. If you do the leap, you can actually margin 25% of it. I think you have to have 75% equity as long as it's more than 9 months. And then once it goes within 9 months, you have to come up with the other 25%. But the problem with leaps is that you're paying a lot of time value, right? Because the time value is how long you have until it expires and the opportunity. So if you have a 3-year one, literally the entire premium is probably time value. Anything to add?
Expensive. The only other thing I can think of is if your option expires or you trade out of it, leaps are the only way you could possibly lock in a long-term capital gain or long-term capital loss. And you can only do that with long options, because short options, it doesn't matter. Short things are always short-term, but
you got it.
You buy a long call today, hold it for a year and a half, and then close it out. That's a long-term capital gain or loss. That's the only other thing.
Yep. So short sales are always short-term. I love it. Okay.
Yep.
Now Gear Grinder, he's always on here. That's awesome. He's happy we're having a party. Okay. So Donald, so the math. I am not, and we're taking this. Oh, we're taking the SIE though. Studying for the 7, right? Okay. Now, I am not. I don't think there's a lot of math on this test. I mean, yes, there's convertibles. There's current yield. There's maybe what else we got? PE ratio, maybe earnings per share, maybe maybe a rights offer. I've seen a lot of rights offering questions lately, but not super hard math.
Nothing crazy. I mean, you kind of mentioned with fundamental. I mean, maybe you get like a current ratio question, asset test, or something like that. And then, I mean, the big one is options. But I try to when I try to teach options, I try to teach people not to memorize it. I think memorization of formulas and options. I mean, if you're going to memorize just option formulas, you're probably memorizing 50 of them. If you get how they work and you understand the underlying concept with options, you don't need to remember those formulas. But I agree. I just, you don't need to be a math expert to pass really any of these exams. You
could literally blow off all the math problems other than options and still probably bang out an 80, 85.
Totally agree.
But I mean, so you have to know, maybe you have to do accretion. Maybe you have to do, I keep saying I don't do accrued interest. One person said they saw it. In the last 6 months, I've had one person said they had accrued interest in math. Most of the time it says, when do you start accounting from? So
I've accrued interest out of my classes. So
do you teach it or no?
No, I mean, for the SIE, I just teach the 3360 for corporate munis and then actual 365 for governments. That's it. I cut it recently out of my Series 7 class because I was finding people were not. I don't think people are seeing it on the exam for the most part.
If they really want to learn, I said, go watch my video. I have a 10-minute video that shows how to do it, and I'm not going to waste my time. Exactly. I think that works. Yeah. Okay. So Donna, we're going to be fine. Listen, no one else sells a QBank. I mean, maybe Past Perfect does. Cheapable does, and STC has four supplemental exams you can buy, which are good, but it's like not cheap. It's like 60. I mean, it's fine but it's like $60-$70. You get 4 full finals. Past Perfect, you can buy them, but Past Perfect will humble you. Past Perfect questions, like I said, the last 7 I took, I got like a 99 or whatever. It's not a flex. We should be doing that, right? But when I do the Past Perfect, I'm like high 80s at best.
Yeah,
because they get me. They just get me. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and also keep. I mean, don't glaze yourself a little bit here, Ken. Ken has a ton. I don't know how many you have. I think you have at least 3 or 4 or 5 videos where you're going through a full-on practice exam in a YouTube video. That's a free practice exam. Go watch those videos. They're great. So yeah.
So thank you. So Ebony and Ivory, how we doing? Okay, so now. Good. See, Donald, he's got an extra an hour and 52 minutes and a prep room. That's awesome. Okay. Now the question is, Abby, what test are we taking? I know I met with you, but what test are we taking so everyone knows? We'll come back to that. We're only 20 minutes behind on this. Okay. Oh, Lisa Lou, Brandon. There we go. Okay. Now, thanks for hosting this live. I retake my 7 on the 16th. Okay. So that's what this is. This is the perfect example of watch the beginning of my video, of the live, where I go through what you should be doing. And again, you missed by 71. Do not act like you missed by 1. You need to act like you missed by 29. Try to build up everything. Okay. So we're going to jump on that one. So yeah. Now, 70%. If you're taking it tomorrow, not a fan. I think that's not high enough. If you're taking it a couple weeks, you're probably in a good place. But I don't think 70% is high enough to probably feel super comfortable. Unless you're taking it tomorrow, then good, you're going to pass. Awesome, you got it.
There you go.
Okay. Krista J, some people recognize you with that. Okay, now let's talk about this. Okay. Okay. So what is your idea? She failed the 7 3 times. She has to wait 6 months. Should she go for the 66? Now, one thing I'm going to say, I am not a fan of studying for 6 months. Like if you're just going to take the 7, you're going to burn out. But do you have anyone that's done that and studied for the 66?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've had plenty of people in Jessica's situation here, and I'm 66. Go right to the 66. Good news. A lot of what you prepare for on the 7 will also show up on the 66. So I jump right into that one and try to get that one done. Build some confidence. The 66 is no joke, but you can pass a 66 with enough, especially if you're good at rules and regulations. 66 might be an easier pass for you potentially. Yeah. So I'd say tackle that one. Let's build some confidence and then get back to the 7. Okay,
I like that. I'm not going to touch that one. That's good. Now, long and low, right? So Arizona, she always asks me the questions that made my hair, whatever hair I had is gone. She's in my Zoom class every Friday. It's great kid. So long and low. So I say long and low because that reminds me that long-term bonds and low coupon bonds move the most. That's really all it is. That if interest rates go up, long-term bonds and low coupon move the most down, and if interest rates go down, long-term bonds and low coupons move the most up, and zeros move the most. I have a question on my exam. We were behind, so I won't do it. Where it goes, I don't want volatility. I want the least amount of volatility. And it's like 0 coupon, variable rate, 15-year bond, and 30-year bond. Every goddamn person picks 0 coupon every time. And and they know, and Arizona knows, it's like, I'm going to start yelling. Okay. So, because I'm like, why? You know that zeros are super volatile. Okay. Okay. Now, I think we talked about this. I think Brandon addressed it because we're behind. You missed it. You missed it by a little bit. I'm a big fan of reading the book again because you got to wait 30 days, but you don't need to that much. You're close enough. But I would spend a good week or 2 reading and adding knowledge and then taking tests for the last 3 weeks. And look, you have Kaplan and STC. That's awesome. If you want, here's the other thing. Go over to Achievable. It's like $99. Go check them out. They're good. He wrote the stuff for them. They explain it better than anyone else. So here's Michael. His story. Listen to this. So Michael failed the 7 3 times. He passed the 66 on the first time. Then he took the 7 about a month ago and passed. Okay. And now he's going. And now what is he doing? He's going for the 24. Yet he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Why? Why is he doing? Well,
he can get a promotion out of it.
I was going to say that the 24 is a very valuable license to have if you make your way through it. But if you're just literally doing it for, let's say, shits and giggles, stop.
I know. Just whip yourself in the back a little bit. Self-flagellation. Yeah. So, but if it's funny, I love Michael, but it's a goddamn roller coaster. Like one day, awesome. Next day, he's giving his finger to the screen, like he's taking pictures of it. So he's my roller coaster guy. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So MP taking full exams. Again, like we said, don't switch vendors. Stick with Kaplan MP because whenever you switch vendors, your scores are going to drop. And again, if you're in the high 60s on a new vendor first shot, you're fine. You're really fine. I'm going to try to catch up a little bit. Okay. So Natalie Walsh, we know you're taking it on the 7. I remember we talked a little bit. Okay. Just Natalie, keep at it. I mean, this is why I try to do this video in the beginning because most of this test becomes I'm taking it going over here. So now, so Kaylin, did you pass? You got to let me know. So now, so in reality, just keep doing what you're doing. Make sure you got my options videos down. I do options differently than everyone else. So like people can't set like I can't like Brandon can't send people to mine because it'll be different than his. Because I think you're more a T-chart guy and stuff like that. But here's the difference. I think you're more into understanding it than the math, right?
Yes. Yeah. I use the T-chart as a facilitation to teach something. I don't think you need to ever do a T-chart. In fact, when I do options, do them. I mean, I don't do this necessarily.
Right.
I do them in your head, but yeah.
Don't anyone do that. Don't anyone do that.
It's a tool. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Unless you've been teaching this stuff for a long time, like we have. So
okay. So now, Sarah, here's the one thing. Depending on the vendor, I do think now. Oh, so I don't need answers. Did you feel they were clear? Don't tell me anything about the test. We didn't need to know that. But Brandon, did you feel that the answers were clear? Or were there a lot of like, wow, 50-50 balls?
Most of the time I felt they were very clear. I'd say I probably got about 10 questions where even I as a teacher, I'm like, hey, this is language I haven't seen before. I'm not 100% sure. Or just a weird way to think about a rule that I just never thought about. That vast majority, though, I got through that exam so quick. I should get through that exam quickly because I teach it, but the vast majority of the exam, I remember thinking, "Oh wow, this is easier than I expected it to be."
Right. I think if you know your stuff, you're fine. If you're learning buzzwords and memorizing, it becomes a tricky test. So, Sarah, if you take it on Saturday, listen, you got to be a badass. You got to be a savage. No tests on Friday. I'm not a fan of that. Some people are. I think no upside to that. Okay. But I'd say watch the videos. I have a crash course for that. Maybe take one of the tests I do. Even watch the other guys' videos. Whatever works.
Take Ken's SIE test video.
Our job is to drag your truck. And again, the SIE, go in there like a confident, badass bitch. It's a bad. We're going to take it like a bad bitch, right, Sarah? Okay, now I do this every day. And I want everyone who's taking it, I know I'm made behind it. I'll catch you. I need everyone to type in here, I'm going to pass. I need everyone to type in here, I'm going to pass this test. What you can say, I'm a bad bitch, I'm going to test, I'm going to fucking pass. Whatever you do it. Okay. Now, Kaylin, that's just 6 to 8 option questions. That's how far behind you are. Okay.
Wow.
CM, that's awesome. Let's count on the 66. I think it's a Mercury retrograde thing, just pissing people off. Okay. It ends on the 15th, everyone. Mercury retrograde ends on the 15th, so you're going to be good. I'm not really into astrology, but I have to because a lot of my students are. Okay. Again, I don't know how to get over the language other than doing it as much as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, and what's that name? A day. If you're using Achievable to Learn and the Kaplan Q Bank as answers, that's a great mix. You're going to be fine. There's no way to do that. Okay.
Totally agree.
A lot of people, Saturday is going to be a fun day for us. Okay. Last minute stuff. As I say with everyone with SIE, it's risks and what the register rep can and can't do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you have another topic you've seen, but I really think that's the test.
No, I mean, even from my own experience in the exam, I mean, know your FINRA rules, your regulate. Can I lend to a customer? Can I borrow from a customer? What can I contribute to a political campaign? You know, what can I buy into an IPO as a restricted person? I mean, all those rules and I'd say for most SIEs, I think it's going to be rules and ethics, and that's where that what you should or should the representative not do. A lot of questions on debt security characteristics, the long and low, what's a callable security, stuff like that. I think, equity securities, which I also throw rights and warrants stuff in there too. I think, those rules, ethics, debt securities, equity securities, I think is going to be a big chunk of your exam.
That's our way to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ashley, she's taking on the test. So by the way, first thing, Catherine, come on Thursday. I don't want to do anything with the 63. I'm not going to do that, but you test in 26. Come on Thursday and we'll talk about that. But go back to, I'm going to say one thing. This is generic. If you find yourself scoring and you can't get over the 50s, 60s, there's a knowledge gap. Go back to reading and what. That's any test. If you're taking tests and you can't get over 50s, stop taking tests and start reading or watching videos again. Okay.
And I'll say just one other thing there. If you are not improving your final exam scores and you're not, there might be a problem with the review process. It could be if you're spending 10 minutes reviewing a 135 question test, you are just not. You need to spend a good amount of time. Why did you get it right? Why did you get this question right? Why did you get this question wrong? Review, cross-reference the reading material. Like you should. I tell my clients, if you're spending 2 or 3 hours on a review, awesome. Keep doing it. That's the way how you improve.
That's how you learn. Yes, and then reread and watch over that.
That's usually the number one reason why I've taken 8 final exams. They're all in the mid 50s. I haven't gotten any improvement. What's your review look like? Well, I review it for 15 minutes. I move on. Yeah. That's the problem there.
And change it up. If you're running insanity, keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you're not going to get, and nothing changes. Change it up. If you're reading, go to videos. If you're taking tests, just take a break from it. Okay. So the math stuff, I think we addressed the math. Look, I love the fact that we're all dumbasses. So the balance sheet stuff, the literal name is telling you the formula. Earnings per share, earnings divided by shares, PE ratio, price over earnings, okay? Dividend payout ratio, dividends, what we pay versus what we earn. That I've seen a little bit, not the math, but know that it's dividends divided by earnings per share. Right? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so Donald, see, listen, you told me if you're getting high 68s, okay? If you're getting high 68s on past perfects and on the mastery, you're in good shape. Especially the mastery. If that's a Kappa mastery, you're really in good shape. Okay, let's go. Coco. Yeah, we love it. I'm going to try to drag Brandon on here at least once a month. Kicking and screaming. Okay, no.
All right. And
okay.
I'd love to.
Koi Dong. Yeah. Hold on. Zamina, how are you? I love butchering people's names. There's no way around that. Okay. So Koi, why are you still on here? You should not be on here. You should be sleeping.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Get out of here. And by the way, anyone taking the 7 and the SIE, my new thing is you got to read customer accounts a day before. Okay.
Really? I tell people that all the time. Yeah. I kind of stole that from you, but yeah, read it. It's not that crazy. It's not super complex. It's just a lot of like little details you got to remember. So,
and you like them fresh. You want them top of mind because there's nothing worse than reading a question and go, I used to know that. Right? Like, oh my God, I used to know that. I can't remember what it is. Okay, here we go. Another pass. I'm only 20 minutes behind. Actually, I'm a little closer now. So let's see where we're going to go with this one. Oh, I love this one. This is a good one.
Looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", no eyes, finance, trust fund, 6'5". I'm looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5".
We won't play the whole thing. That one there's one another that I play at the end that gets me blocked every time. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have to say, so Alicia, that is awesome. Congratulations. Okay. Okay, 7. Abby. Okay, 7. Okay. Now, again, really everything. Just take tests every day. But again, for the 7, I'd say mutual funds, options, annuities, and customer accounts. Is there any other topic that you're jumping out of here?
I mean, the big one, I'm sure it's kind of the underlying thing. Suitability is a huge thing. Understanding customer profiles, the benefits, risks, typical investor of the different products out there. And then maybe the only one you didn't mention, municipal debt. I mean, how many different random things can they ask about muni debt? So, yeah.
But you know, it's funny. All the vendors ask crazy muni bond questions. And the test is much more about, like you said, the suitability of it. I mean, there are some little like official statement stuff, but a lot of it's about the suitability.
Exactly. If you're looking at a general obligation bond versus a revenue bond, like what are the things you would analyze those bonds for suitability, stuff like that, Yeah.
Right. Okay. Angie, that's a very vague thing. Okay. So now, but I'm going to tell you right now, you failed with a 64, not horrible, not awesome, but not horrible. You want to, since you have 20 days left, I would spend a good 5 to 10 days reading. Not crazy, like you said. Don't read the whole book. Don't redo options. Just do the math on it. Don't read balance sheet. Don't reread the DPPs. Nobody gives a shit about DPPs. And I mean, you're gonna get like 3 questions on it. Let it fucking go. Just know they're not liquid and they're not for everyone, right?
There you go.
And then just keep going. And Angie, if you want, like I said, I do this membership thing every Friday night. Yeah, I'm a greedy fucking bastard and I make you pay for it. But it's like $25 a month. And we meet at 7 p.m. on Friday nights on Zoom. And it's funny. I had about usually 15 or 20 people in it. And a lot of people pass. So I'm down to like 5. So it's almost like a little semi-private thing. Okay. So now.
Dave's got a good question.
This one, right? Yeah.
It's a quick answer. Well, depending on which side you're looking at it on,
Yes.
this prepayment or extension risk. In that example there, why do interest rates go up? Debt securities across the board go down, but why do mortgage-backed securities go down further? It's because now you're facing extension risk where you're stuck with a lower yielding investment for longer than you expected. No one wants that thing, so it's going to trend lower. So, quick
now,
answer.
what about when rates drop?
When rates drop, interest rates drop, debt securities go up, and that's going to be the case for debt securities and including CMOs, pass-through certificates. But those will not go up as far in price because now you've got a higher yielding thing. Like I have a 6% pass-through certificate, mortgage-backed security. Interest rates are now down at 4%. Well, what does that create? An environment of refinancing. So all those mortgage holders are going to start refinancing their mortgages, paying off their mortgages earlier. So it's almost like you have a good thing that's now not going to last as long. So therefore its price is not going to go up as high when interest rates fall.
So the price may go up, but your monthly payments may actually go down because there's less bonds, right? So you get, so that's like you said, prepayment risk. Most of the time they won't make you do that. A lot of time it's just like, what risk are you facing? And by the way, if somebody wants income, don't lead with mortgage-backed securities unless they specifically say monthly income.
Yeah, agree.
Now, here's the thing. So Coco Chanel. Now, what I say, when I do this, when I think of capital appreciation, I'm always like, okay, it's fucking equity. It is always equity. It is always something that invests in equity. Now, what tricks people is, so first of all, variable annuities, common stock is first, variable annuities, mutual funds, ETFs. The other one is when they're talking fixed income, it's always a convertible. So if they ever say participate in capital appreciation and debt, or participate in earnings and it's debt, it's always a convertible. And I have the rule that if convertible's there, pick it. It's probably right more than it isn't. If you can't choose the right answer, convertible's right an awful lot. But again, not if you don't pick it and go, you had the right answer and you'd switch it because of what I said. It's if you're really flipping a coin. But again, capital appreciation is always about, it's some sort of, it's attached to common stock. Calls would work. Okay. Anything to add on that one?
Nope.
I think I covered it. I didn't give any room to answer that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this, I don't know. This is a firm thing. Okay. I don't know. FINRA approve it. So if you passed your 7 or your 6, because it's variable, maybe you're in the next day. Go on. If you have Nikki, so you must have a FinPro account. And I just been going back into that because I'm going to tangent for a second. So I shut my firm down 2 years ago. Okay. So now I'm doing the MQP program I have to do all this continuing ed again. And I have it's 30 of them because I have 12 licenses. It's so fucking brutal. But I'm just saying, so you had to do the FinPro, Brandon, to get into the SIE, right?
I did.
So everyone has to have one. By now, they said anyone who's licensed has a FinPro. Nikki, go into your FinPro and look for the thing that says you're approved, and then bring it in and go, look, I'm approved. That's what you got to do. I mean, maybe they're waiting for you to take the 63 or something, but go into FinPro, get the thing that says you're registered at the date of, and bring it in and go, what are you waiting for? Because, look, I was a compliance guy for 10 years after being on the floor. A lot of compliance people are fucking morons. If not morons so much, they don't know. They're ignorant. I'll put it that way. Now I'll get yelled at when I go to New Orleans, but that's okay.
And licensing is usually at the bottom of their priorities. So I mean, depending on the compliance person, they usually have bigger fish to fry than
they're worried about people donating too much money and stuff. Right. Here we go. Look at this.
Yep.
Jacob, Donald, Carly, Julie, Aday. I'm trying to do this. Here we go. Brian Flagg, you're gonna pass. Where were you today? Okay. There you go. Arizona, gonna make that test your bitch. Coco. There you go. I like it. Hey, by the way, Angie, did that block out the curse or did you do that? I don't know if I have a filter on. You'd figure they would not. Look at this. Everyone's going to pass. Okay. Now, Kavita, that's an open question. It should take, depending where you are, you're in New York City, it's probably a week. Like if you open your window, it's a 4-month window. 4 months, right? 120 days, 4 months. And once they open it, you should be able to book a test within a week or two. Okay.
Yeah, here in Denver, I was able to get in 3 days. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then depending, like in the summer, you can't. It's New York is 2 months out. Only in the summer, because only analyst class. And did you know this? That the firms can buy bulk seats up to 6 months without even a name on it.
My Fidelity, we used to do that all the time. We would book out like 20 seats on a one day.
I know. And then with no names on it, you just add the names later. I'm like, I get it.
Exactly. Yep.
That's why I tell everyone, just keep looking every day, refresh and see if something opens. Okay.
Oh yeah. And we would cancel all the time. We'd book 20 seats and then fill like 14 of them. So keep looking.
And then you let them go. Right. I know. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that till I heard them. I'm like, I did not know that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, look, you're on this. Here's the one thing. I don't like the 66. Okay. I do, but it's such a, here's the thing, Annabelle, you know enough to pass. That's absolutely a fact. If you're scoring 80s on Kaplan, you absolutely know enough to pass. And I know who you're working with. She's working with a tutor right now. So, I know you're ready. It's just have you go in there like a badass and be confident, you're going to be fine. It's what happens is when you don't, but the problem is the test. I remember I was talking to Jennifer that 2 years ago, about that the fact that the 66, there's like a 25% gap between the easy one and the hard one. Literally, if you get the ass kicker test, it's an ass kicker test. And some people get the easy definition one and just like, oh, this is easy. And then there's some people who knew their shit and they go, I felt like I was reading a foreign language. Mm-hmm. So Annabelle, I know I'm not making you feel any better, but you're in the 80s. You absolutely know enough to pass the test.
Yeah, you're ready.
Yeah. Okay. Biggest topics, Carla, we hit it, right? Munis. Now I got munis, suitability, options. Customer accounts. Yep, mutual funds and annuities, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Dan Montenegro. Here we go. Okay. Good. You know what? I'm glad you like it, Denise. It's awesome. It's really good stuff. And he wrote all that stuff, which is great. Okay. I think we answered that. Okay. Here's the thing. Since we're near the end of this thing, here's the thing. If you had to tell somebody one thing about the 66, what would you pick? Was there anything you would pick? That one topic they have to cover? Other than ranking, it's so easy.
I was literally going to say 45% of the test no Uniform Securities Act and the Investment Advisors Act of 1940 and NASA rules. That's the big bulk of it, man. I just, if you are not competent with laws and regulations on the 66, you're just not going to pass. So that's I don't beyond that, suitability, product knowledge, all the weirdo stuff in the client recommendations. I don't know. But
I'm a big fan of the investment vehicles because I think that's where people get hurt. Because the 65 I'm not worried because they have to do a deep dive. But on the 66, everyone's past the 7 already. So you think, oh, I have one guy goes, I got the investment vehicles down. I'm like, no, you don't. I know you think you do, but you don't. Because they ask it in such, they don't ask it the same way as the 7. And that's another test you could take if you ever get bored, Brandon. But you're really going heavy. You're a deep dive on the SIE, right?
I'm taking I'm focused on the SIE right now, but no, the next one's going to be one of the NASA exams. I just got to figure out which one I want to take first. Maybe I'll start easy and go with the 63. So
get that out of there. Smart. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Shiv, you take your 67 to 70 on SDC. And this is kind of like I'm answering, even though it's 66, I'm going to answer it for any test. That's borderline. Now, if you can't move it, then I would spend 2 days reading and finding the lowest sections and review. Like Brandon said, you need to review your exams and find out why. Because look, I'm a fan of, if I do bad on an exam, I don't get mad. I go, okay, that's a good thing. I now know where I'm weak. I know I have a weak spot. So where the hell is it? So that's what I want. So you have to start finding out where you're weak and do that. And in reality, you should spend a couple of days reading and then get back into testing. And like he said, make sure you got the regs down. Make sure you got the investment vehicles down, and you should be able to pull this off. Okay.
Yeah, totally agree.
Okay. There you go. So another big thing for achievable. That's good. Okay. Oh, yeah, because I get it, Brandon. You couldn't come in the rain. Brian, I get it. Okay, now. Yes, poor rescored is the achievable dude. Okay.
That is me.
Okay. Here we go. Here's a good one for you. Can I expect to see options course with multiple contracts and calculating realized gain, max loss, break even? I get these on the practice. No, I think she may be talking about spreads or straddles, but I'm afraid she's talking about what do you call it? It's like the 3
butterflies or iron condors or So, I mean, the first thing I would ask is what exam. If it's the SIE, don't even worry about multiple contract questions. If it's a 7, here's the thing. Butterfly spreads are on the Series 7 outline. But I'll put it this way. I've never had anyone come back from the 7 telling me, hey, I wish I studied butterfly spreads more. Right. I think your most likely butterfly spread question is an identification question. Like, here's one long 50 call, 2 short 60 calls, and 1 long 70 call. What is this? That if you see a 3-parter, it's a spread, like long, short, long, or short, long, long. If you see a 3-parter, it's probably a butterfly spread.
Right.
I'd keep it simple. Yeah,
I think that's true. So Abby, I did just put again. You might have to recognize a collar. You might have to recognize the butterfly. I don't think they're going too deep on that.
I don't think so.
And again, STC will make you do it. It's much more about recognizing.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. So, Cameron. Yeah, you're fine. You're in good shape, especially the 63. Okay. Yeah. So, Abby, I put the link in there for the videos, and Mike deep dive again. 30% of the test is the regs, the state stuff, and there's a lot more product knowledge on the 65. There is. Okay.
Yeah. The 65 is a lot. There's a lot there, but yeah. It's
not too bad. We got an hour in.
One thing. Yeah. Yeah. But sorry, go ahead. Yeah. No,
we got an hour in. It's not too bad. Do you want to put your ADV links in there? Do you know how to do that or no?
I assume it's in the little chat function underneath. I'll be honest. I didn't even I didn't even look at the videos. Just
everyone here's a better way. Everyone, just go to Basic Wisdom on YouTube, and that's where his stuff is.
Yeah. So how about this? I'll let's see if this works. I'll put this in the chat. We'll see if this does anything.
It may not work. It's in mine. I can copy paste.
Okay, yeah, it's in yours. Okay, great. I don't know what I'm doing here apparently, but no,
that's fine. This is good. No, it works. Here we go. If
you guys want to check out my videos, my channel is not nearly as in depth or huge as Ken's, but I have some videos out there, some of which I think are pretty good. I send people.
I like your videos because you're calming when you explain stuff simply. I know that I talk fast. And I can't, and I've tried to slow down. It makes my brain hurt when I try to do that.
Yeah. And I will, in 2025, I will be adding more to my channel. I've gone over a year since I've added a new video. So I'm adding more. If you're looking for tutoring help, you probably need to look elsewhere unless your exam is down the road. My first opening isn't until January 20th. But hey, Ken's a great resource. He runs all these, all these classes and all these group get-togethers. You guys are in good hands. Stick with Ken. But hey, if you have questions for me, you can always reach out to me, and Basic Wisdom on YouTube, basicwisdom.net is my website.
There you go.
Let me know if you have any questions. Yeah.
So I have a couple more questions left. So cool. The one thing is I'm gonna try to get you on here if you can once a month.
I'd love to.
Yeah. So
I'll bother you. I'll reach out to you in like early January and see if you're still willing to bring me on.
Because I forget, like literally, I think it's August. I don't know how it just snow on there. Okay. Oh, did you? Before I go and all this, did you get any? How much snow have you had by you?
Right now we had a couple inches today. Nothing crazy. So yeah. Okay. It's been relatively dry. Yeah. But
that's the thing. So you never know though. It's like the next day also when you have 3 feet. Well, you're in Denver though, right?
We're in Denver. It's relatively mild now. You get into the mountains a little bit. It's a little crazy out there. So
have you gone skiing?
Not yet. I can't wait. I got my snowboard already. I'm a snowboarder, but I'll be out there next week.
Okay.
So,
and you're gonna get your kids in it early, right?
Yeah, my daughter is 2.5 now. We're getting her. We had her on a board last year, so we just haven't done it yet this year yet. Yeah,
the best thing we did. My grandson, he's 5, so it's 3rd year skiing. Mm-hmm. And like they're like little ankles. The entire body's an ankle. Once they get it, they never fall.
Yeah.
Makes me mad.
And they, they're very pliable too. So they
roll and they get right up.
They're right back up. Yeah.
Yep. Crazy. Okay, so Mary, I do have a video. I have a video right in the 65-66 playlist called Investment Vehicles. It's literally a 2-hour video. I don't like 2-hour videos. I think they're boring as hell. But I had no way around that. I wasn't going to break it up. Okay. Now, Tomislav, that's a name. Tomislav Kosick went through the test and some reading material, and he passed it. Okay, so we're going to do a quick one for you. We're not going to do it crazy. Where are we? Here. Mark him up. Okay, one thing I'm going to say, I was reading this as it went. Thank God it wasn't a bad thing. Do you see how, I mean, I hope you studied for more than 2 days. Thomas.
I would not have, even as the former writer for Achievable, I would not recommend doing a 2-day process. So yeah.
Some people find it late and that's what they get, but sometimes it's so I've had a couple people say they studied for like 4 days and passed. You got to have some background on that one. Okay.
Yeah. I just lost my video because my camera just went out, but here's a new one.
Oh, there you go.
I'll be back in 1 second.
No worries. So Amarin, I failed my second attempt with a 65. Do you have any recs? Okay. More than new camera. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Amarin. So here's the thing. So I think that you missed a 65. One more shot. Switching to pass perfect to STC, you'll see big gains. I do think they teach it. I think they teach it pretty well. I do think Achievable teaches it better. I'm not just blowing him up because he's here. I've always said that. But I think STC is solid. If you follow their program, plug in the calendar, follow it to a T, you'll like them better because, look, Pass Perfect will get you ready. But they will, it's like, I joke around, like if I'm learning CPR, they'll teach me how to pass the MCATs. That's kind of the way Pass Perfect is. Okay? So it'll get you there. But like, there's a level of like, okay, they're harder, right? Like it's harder is good, but you don't need to demoralize yourself. So Amarin, I bet you'll feel better once you start on the STC and follow the program. Don't skimp on it. Don't cheat out. Do everything. Do you have any other advice on that one?
No, I mean, yeah. If you try to make shortcuts, those shortcuts eventually will cut down on your chances of passing. So follow the program, do the work, read the chapters, do your chapter quizzes, get to the end, take a bunch of practice exams, do good thorough reviews of those practice exams, and rock and roll. Yeah.
Okay. So Tomasov said he was reading for more than that, so it wasn't more than that. So he did admit that. But now Jules has a question. So I have a cheating way of answering this. So you see what Jules is asking? Can you read that one?
So long 200 shares of stock at 58 and short one ABC May 60 call too. What's interesting there is usually I see the opposite. Like they're heavy on the short calls, and then boy, what's the maximum loss? Unlimited. But sorry, go ahead. I want to see your way.
Okay, so no. You're right. It's always the other way, and it's always unlimited. So the way I do it, and now it's not visually. I have a video where I did this one. So I write long 200, it's 58. Now the books make you do the math, 58,000 and all that. I don't do that. I take the option and literally write it just right above the word 200 shares. So literally you would have, hold on, I can do this real quick. Let me get this open real quick, and I'll do this. I think it's an easy way of doing this. I'm a fan of easy and simple. Let's see what I can do here. Why is it not working? Hold on. Is it not going to let me do it? Oh, yeah, I got to do the whiteboard first. So now I can share. I'm learning. I'm not quick on this.
You're fine.
Here we go. So if you can see, let me know. So you buy 200 at 60. And then I sell, I don't know if that was the numbers. Hold on, let's see. 258 and then sell 60 call, right? Okay, good.
Oh, okay, yeah. 258.
Right. And then sold the 60 call. And then, and this, I did this. I'm like, hey, it fucking works. Sell 60 call at 2. Now, this is what I do. Instead of doing all that crazy math, I go like this. I take this and put it right on top. So then it looks like that. Everyone can see that, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I can see it.
What's that fraction? The first number, what fraction does that make? That's a half. You use half the premium. And it works every time, even if it's the more. So if I do this, so if it, say it's what we normally say it's this. So in reality, I use half the premium. That's 1. So I do 58 minus 1, break even's 57. Now, let's say it was the other way around. Let's say it was 100 and 2 calls, which we know that's what we normally see. We know max loss is unlimited because it's more calls. What fraction is this? This is 2 over 1. So you use 2 times the premium. So 2 times 2, you use 4. Your break even will be 54. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you do. I don't know. It's just the way I do it. because it's the other way they do it is like do 200 times 58, and then you multiply that, and you do the option, then it takes you goddamn forever. Again, if this was like 400 shares in one, what's that fraction? 1/4. I would use 1/4 of the premium. That's all.
Cool.
Different way.
57.50.
Different way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay. Again, there's a million ways to do it, and in reality, you're only going to see it once.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, hold on. We get Stephen Hughes. Look at this. They all come in at the end. Okay. You got to deal with more music. What do we? Oh.
Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena, que tu cuerpo es para dar la alegría y cosas buenas. Dala tu cuerpo alegría Macarena.
Stephen Hughes. There we go. Got it. Okay.
Great oldie there.
I tried to switch him up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So yeah, by the way, Denise, Past Perfect, I love them in a way because they'll get you ready, but I think their questions, here's what I tell everyone. When it comes to math, I think Past Perfect has like something happens. Something happens to them when they see a number. It's just kind of crazy. Okay. That's not bad. Hour and 15 minutes, not too bad. Usually it hits about
Not
that.
bad.
I may have to go eat dinner. Okay.
Okay.
Listen, thanks
Well,
for
it's been a
coming on. I
pleasure.
love it. Thank you, everyone. I definitely want to do this every month. I think this would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
and you can, and if we'll sit, and you let me know whether you want to do this NASA night or the SIE night. It doesn't matter. But
Does
a lot
matter.
of everyone hates the NASA stuff because it's just a pain in the ass. Okay.
Yeah,
Don't tell me.
it is.
Okay, so now.
It is. So,
Okay, everyone, don't forget to check out Basic Wisdom. His website's basicwisdom.net. My shit is going behind you up there on top. You like this thing? I love this fucking thing. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome, by the way.
I know.
Yeah.
I have one more coming that's even bigger, but I probably have to give it to my son, but my wife will kill me. Anyway, so remember, guys, I have a membership thing that if you join the membership, I do my options videos. And then you can have a little bit more money. You can do the classes at 6 p.m. or 7. Ivy, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Ivy's
Ivy.
great. I love Ivy. Okay. Other than that, I think we're good to go.
I think we're good. Well, until next
Awesome.
time, and I will reach out to you, Ken. I would love to be back on here.
Shoot me a
hopefully
text
mid-time.
anytime, and then we'll just figure
Mid-January.
mid-January. We'll hammer this out every month. Okay.
We'll do it. Hey,
Love having you on here. Everyone.
Happy holidays, all that stuff. You know, hopefully has
Merry
everyone has a
Christmas,
great
Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah,
Yeah.
all that shit. Good stuff.
all that stuff.
Okay,
All right.
everyone. Okay. Everyone,
guys.
thank you for coming in. I'll see you guys in 48 hours, and I'll see you. Have a good holiday, my man. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. See you. Bye.
See you. As I try to figure out how to get this off. But now I'm going to put on the song that makes me get banned every time. Listen to this. You'll like this.